Welcome back to Railroads Online. We're here in Aurora Valley and we are going to continue on our mission in producing gold ingots. Now on today's schedule we're going to be taking some raw iron up to the smeltery. Well, no, it's not the smeltery, is it? The smeltery is where we get the raw iron. We're going to be taking it up the mountain pass to turn it into tools and pipes. Of course, raw iron is just one of many ingredients we're going to need, which includes coal, raw iron, well, hold on a second, not raw iron, just iron beams, basically, and wood lumber. I'm getting everything mixed up. But yes, these three things combined, they make tools and steel pipes. Steel pipes, I believe, are used in the production of oil, but the tools are what we're after. Now, if you remember from the previous episode, we get iron rails and iron beams from smeltery, where we took the cordwood and iron ore together produces those two things, so it's not too far from here. And we're going to be heading up the mountain for the first time. Now the mountain pass isn't too far off, and it's not a particularly difficult journey as long as we keep our wits about us. Again, we're in our Mastodon, the level 7 train, and it has no issues pulling 12 cars. I just got word from Jack Railroads and up at the train depot I was just at. Or not a train depot, well, it kind of is, but anyway, Jack Railroads, and here we are. Raw iron. Right, it is raw iron. So iron ore makes raw iron, which makes tools. You get the idea. Anyway, I got news from Jack Railroadson before I left that we were expecting some bad weather coming in, so hopefully we can get some work done before we finish this route here. Yeah, I see some clouds coming in now, so I reckon we got a time ahead of us. But as long as we can get up that mountain while it's still dry, there's no issues today. Here's where we get our iron ore from. And straight along here, we're going to straddle the mountain and make our way up. Now, as I've said in a previous video, we're usually working with some pretty good grades, so we shouldn't experience any difficulty. A beautiful route coming up around here. Yeah. Jim Railroadson said he's seen American bison up ahead when he's come up here last, before he went up to the Dead Man's Pass. Well, it's one of the few nice things he said about this area. Of course, there's beauty in nature. But Jim Railroadson, he got a little bit too close to nature for his liking. And he's not keen to repeat it. I'm not seeing any bison here. Maybe they moved on. Oh, what's that ahead? What's that ahead of us here? Looks like we do have some American bison. Wow. I guess I don't let you have a good look today, but I'm sure you will when we come down the mountain in the future. If they're still there. We're just coming around now. Down there you can see the sawmill. And over there you can see our production zone. That's where we're taking this raw iron. And they're going to turn that into tools and steel pipes. Yeah, you can see some more railroad bridges in the distance. Those railroad bridges up ahead there, along the mountainside on the far side of the valley, that leads up to Dead Man's Pass. I tell you, you don't want to be going up there when the weather turns harsh. Because even if it's turning fall here, up in the mountains, it's always winter. Alright, looks like we're just pulling in. Let's start unloading. Alright, now with that all unloaded, I think before I call it a day, I'm gonna take the Mastodon down to the sawmill, and we're gonna get some lumber for the next run. I reckon that'll be a good idea. So we'll go and get a load of lumber. And the next time I'll be coming back up here, put in a load of lumber, and we'll take whatever's left back down to the ore mine. We're going to want to slow down here for this bend. Now to head down the mountain, we're going to go a different route than how we came up. If we want to go to the sawmill, there's a way that leads much closer to it. But again, favorable weather makes everything a lot easier. Only an experienced train conductor can be doing these sort of routes in bad weather. And I tell you, Jim Railroadson was the best there was. And I should know because he's my brother. So when that man says he's done conducting, I believe him. Maybe we'll hear about what happened down at the Dead Man's Pass one day. But I tell you, Jim needs a lot of stiff brandies to help him get through those memories. Thankfully, there's always a fire lit in the lodge, so he can stay warm, stay comfortable. But while he's off duty, I'm hauling double duty, because I have to make up. Here we go, down through the Valley Pass. Traders used to come up here in their wagons back in the day. It was carved out by glaciers in the past. Big glacial river of ice just carved through here and ripped out all the stone and deposited it all in the valley below, in the plateau of Aurora Falls. And that's why we got so many stones laying everywhere. Huge boulders that need to be manually removed by the engineers as they put in the rail. Of course, the local wildlife doesn't mind. There's a sawmill in the back, you can just see it over the hill. So this route really takes us in for easy access. In and out of our train depot and our rail yard, we can easily get up the mountain if we need to. Thankfully, we have a brother like Gene Railroadson who's able to work the finances for us. So when we get some gold ingots loaded in, he'll be the one to be making the sales, and we'll all be profiting. And I reckon by that time we'll be ready to move on. Aurora Falls is not an easy place for old farts like us. Yeah, adventure like this requires a young heart and a young body. weather's quite turning overcast here. I just hope we can make some progress in getting to that gold mine before the weather really turns winter. Ideally, we're not going to be getting to the stamp mill until spring or summer next. Because if we have to go up Dead Man's Pass in the middle of winter, we're going to be in big trouble. Yeah, here we are. Gonna load up with some lumber. Well, we're nearly done here. After we load up, I reckon I'm gonna take a quick break and then we'll be taking this lumber back up the mountain. So if you like this episode, do consider liking and subscribing. It really does help the channel grow. And, well, we'll be seeing you next time on Aurora Falls.